Hi guys, so I was requested to do a video on my must-have brushes. These are all brushes that you can get right now. They are all like readily available, none are discontinued. I wanted to stick to brushes that you could actually go out and buy after you watch this video. So I want to talk about like the importance of brushes really quickly. If you don't already use good brushes, you will be so surprised once you switch over to really high quality, well-made brushes. They really are an investment because if you take good care of them and, you know, if they are made well, they really should last you like 10 years. I mean, you have to wash them often and, you know, just don't be too rough on them, but they really should last you a long time. So I always tell people brushes really are an investment and they will completely change the way that you apply makeup and it'll just make it so much better. So let's start out with some face brushes because that's like the canvas and those are extra important to me. So for brushes, face-wise, I definitely always use a brush for foundation. I very rarely use my hands. I don't love using my hands for foundation. I will if I need to, but I kind of feel like, I don't know, it always gets like yucky looking on me, like a little bit cakey with that when I use my fingers. So I love brushes, and brushes that I love to use are kind of like flat topped almost buffing brushes. Maybe not flat top, maybe like rounded topped buffing brushes, but they all have something similar in common. All these three brushes are number one synthetic and number one they're kind of fluffy but more dense also. So this is the Urban Decay Optical Blurring Face Brush. This was like made to go with the Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation. I use it with every foundation. This, out of the three, I would probably have to say is my favorite. It's so super soft. It has a really nice kind of rounded edge. It's dense enough, but it's also a little bit taller than the others, so it really can like able to buff it in. I just really like the way this feels. I like the quality of it. It's nice. It's just a really good brush for any sort of liquid foundation or powder if you prefer. This one is the Real Techniques buffing brush. I love this one. It's a little bit shorter, a little bit more dense, a little bit of a different texture, I would say. Works just as well for foundation. I like them both pretty equally. And then the last one is kind of different than the other two, but does the same exact thing. This is the Sephora Professional, and this is the old version, but they have a newer black handled one that's exactly the same pretty much. This is the Airbrush Precision Foundation Brush, and this one is just paddle shaped. So instead of being completely rounded, it's more of like an oval when you hold it straight on, I guess. Works just as well. Really, really good brush. So all three of those are what I personally use for foundation. So when it comes to powder, I have a few different ones, of course, also. The two main ones that I use, or the ones that are most accessible for you guys to get, is number one, the Real Techniques Multitask Brush. I love this brush. It's great. It's fluffy. It's super soft. It's a synthetic fiber, so you can use it, you know, with anything you really want to. I like natural. I like synthetic. I don't know if I really have a preference. I'm a fan of both. And this one is, I believe, also synthetic, and this is the Pro Airbrush Brush from Sephora collection. You can use this for foundation. I use it for powder because it's a little too fluffy for me to get my desired coverage using a foundation. So I love this one a lot. It's taller and less dense than this one, so if I want more coverage one day I'll use this. If I want less coverage I'll use this. I pretty much only use this for powder because I like the application of it, but I also use this one for bronzer because it's a little bit more dense, so it applies a little bit more product. Primarily for bronzer, I will choose to use my Real Techniques blush brush. This is for blush. It's huge. Like, I do not want that for blush, like, at all. However, it makes an amazing bronzer brush if you want less of an application. So multitask is for a denser application of bronzer. The blush brush is for a looser application. You can see it's super fluffy, it's very tall and so soft, and it just applies bronzer really, really nicely. For blush, this is my favorite blush brush ever. It's the Sephora Collection Pro Precision Blush Brush. And I love it because it's a tapered blush brush, so it comes up to a little bit of a point, but it's also it's like squeezed in at the side, so it's a paddle shaped. I love paddle shaped brushes. Number one, you can pat the blush on right where you want it. And number two, you can hold it like straight on or at its side or whatever and kind of like blend it out really, really nicely. So this blush brush is definitely my favorite. Probably smaller than maybe what you're used to seeing a blush brush be, but I prefer smaller, more tapered blush brushes because I really like to get right there and I don't like it to go anywhere else. So I love this brush. It's really good. The last two face brushes are kind of like extra brushes to me. They're not really brushes that I need per se, but they're definitely brushes that I use a lot and brushes that I would recommend maybe picking up if you wanted to expand a little bit more. The first one is the Sephora collection. This is the Pro Buffing brush. This one has like real animal hair or whatever it's called, and it's a really flat, very dense buffing brush. So this has endless possibilities. You can use it for contouring. You can use it for cream bronzer, powder bronzer. You can use it for blush. You can use it for powder foundation. You can use it for liquid foundation. Am I missing anything? I don't know. You can use this one for pretty much anything. And that's why I think this one makes a good brush to have, because really you can use it for everything. And I have been loving it for liquid foundation. It gives a very, very full coverage. So, you know, beware when you're using it. You're going to get fuller coverage than normal. However, it really buffs it out beautifully. And this is definitely one I would totally recommend, at least, you know, touching and feeling in Sephora and kind of like playing around with it with different foundations maybe on your hand and see what a nice full coverage this brush gives. So again, this is a good one if you want a brush that really does it all. And then the last face brush is this huge brush. I really like it a lot though. It's the IT Cosmetics, I don't know what it's called, like a big huge kabuki brush. This is like the biggest brush that I own. It's humongous. I really like this for body bronzer, like on my chest or my neck or whatever. But if you have like one of those days where you just feel like your makeup like isn't totally blended, take like this clean or with a little powder on it, and you can totally just go all over your face, and it completely like blends everything out and makes it look more even and just really nice. So soft. Probably the softest brush I have ever owned. It's huge though. I mean, I don't know. I got this in the mail and I was like, what am I going to do with that? But it's a great one to have. Definitely not a must have, but for me, I love it and I use it all the time. So those are my basic must-have brushes for me. I have so many more brushes, like I'm looking at them right now. I tried to choose ones that, again, you guys could get right now, not ones that are like really hard to find or anything. So let's move on to eye brushes, and I have a lot less eye brushes. I only have these, and how many are there? There is 7 eye brushes. Of course, I could choose many more, but these are just the basics. So first one, probably heard of it. It is the MAC 239. Most of these are MAC brushes are really good. However, the Sephora collection, the new ones with the black handle are really good too, and there's a lot that are comparable to MAC ones. So this is the MAC 239. I haven't seen anything comparable to this one though. I will say that. This is in its own league and it's amazing. And you've probably heard it before, but you can use this for anything. You can use it to pat color on the lid, you can use it to brush color on the crease, under the brow, in the inner corner, on the lower lash line. Like, this is just one of those that are just a must-have. So MAC 239, and they're all numbered, so I hope you're not getting confused about that. And the next must-have is from MAC, and it is the 217. This is one that's a little bit tapered, so it's kind of like squished in on the side, so it has more of a paddle shape. Again, with this one, you can do pretty much anything. Tap color on the lid, blend out. You can put color in the crease, under the brow. Like, this is kind of one of those that are an all-around good brush to have. And realistically speaking, you could do a whole entire eye look with just these 2 brushes. However, we like more brushes than that. So the next one is the MAC 219. So any pencil brush. Pencil brushes are almost all created equally. This one I love because it has a very, very sharp pencil-y point, and you can get right under there super easily, and a thin line. So this is a really good brush to have. It's not necessarily super duper necessary if you have something like the 239, but it's really good and it makes it easy to kind of get that smudgy, smoky look. Another brush from MAC is the 252, and again, this is kind of like a bigger, I guess, synthetic version of the 239. This one I love to just put one color all over the entire lid. It's so easy to just like get the color on the brush and just kind of like slap it on wherever you need it. So I really love this brush. I use this one like seriously every day. I use this one probably more than any other of these eye brushes, just because a lot of days I'll just do one color on the lid, and then I'll do like eyeliner, mascara, and stuff. And then the last MAC brush is the 224, and any basic blending brush can do the same thing. This is just a tall, fluffy, a little bit tapered blending brush. This is really good for just blending out any harsh lines or putting a color right above the crease to kind of blend out anything you want. This is what you would consider a blending brush. Basic blending brush. You can get one from almost any brand, but I like the MAC one. It's a good one. And the last 2 brushes are eyeliner brushes. Well, actually, this first one's a more for eyebrows, but you can double it as eyeliner. This is the Sigma E65. It's just an angled brush, your basic run-of-the-mill angled brush. It's really good. I use this for my for my brows, I use powder most of the time, and I'll just fill them in with this. If I want, sometimes I'll take powdered eyeshadow and stamp it on as liner, and I'll use this brush for that. And then the last eye brush. This is the Sephora Bent Liner Brush. I don't know if you can see this. The reason why I love this is because of the kind of like crooked bend that it has. And it allows me to get really, really close to the upper lash line with gel liner. So those are my must-have brushes that I use every single day, or at least a few times a week. I use those brushes all the time. Very, very important to invest in good quality brushes. And I do want to quickly mention, I know you probably already know this, but please wash your brushes at least every other week, because otherwise product is building up in them and you're basically like adding more product onto a dirty brush and putting it back on your face. It's just not a good thing. So wash your brushes. You can do daily brush cleaner, like, you know, one that dries immediately, or you can do actual like shampooing brush cleaner. However you want to do it, make sure you wash them. Speaking of washing them, mine probably need a good little bath right about now, but I will talk to you guys soon. Hope you liked this video. I would love to hear about your favorite brushes down below. Probably I would have to say my favorite brand for brushes. I really just have a thing for MAC brushes. I think they're really good, and they're like the first high-end brushes that I bought, and it's what I use in my kit. It's what I use on myself. Sephora brand brushes are really good also. They do have some different ones, so you don't necessarily have to get all one or the other, but they're both like probably two of my favorite brands. For cheaper brushes, my favorite, I mean 120 million %, are the Real Techniques brushes. They are so amazing if you're on a budget and you need good quality brushes. The only thing with these is that I think all of them are synthetic, so they're not going to work for every single look that you're going to do, but they'll work for most of the time. Alright, so hope you guys like this video. Again, let me know what your favorite brushes are down below in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!